last year, he was recognized as a freedom fighter by the government of Bangladesh because he was member of the 11-member Student Action Committee in 1971. During 1971, the British Bengali diaspora, who are very, very patriotic, fought an overseas liberation war here in the United Kingdom. In Trafalgar Square, there were 3 placards they took from Westminster to Trafalgar Square to Hyde Park. It said, recognize Bangladesh, stop genocide, release Sheikh Mujib. And the Student Action Committee and the Central Action Committee were the ones who were the brave overseas freedom fighters. So congratulations to Said Mujammil Ali. And, the study circle, I don't want to be blamed by calling it a think tank, but, it is indeed a research-based organization, which is doing absolutely brilliant job. As you can see, this is an empirical, evidence-based publication on Bangladesh's development journey under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And why? Because if you look at Bangladesh's development over the first 40 years, the GDP growth in 2008 was under 100 billion, like 90 billion. Then in 1 decade, it became 461 billion. Can you believe it? 400 times growth of a GDP. So the growth that happened in past decade, we call it the decade of growth and prosperity. Now, the World Economic Forum had identified 3 factors between Bangladesh becoming one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Number 1 is women's participation. Currently, 42% is our women in women in workforce. It used to be under 23%, even like a decade back. And according to World Economic Forum, Bangladesh is number 1 in World Economic Forum Gender Parity Index in political empowerment of women, and within the top 25 when it comes to economic empowerment of women. But in political empowerment, we are always either 7th or 8th globally. The second factor they contributed was energy security that was achieved in 2009, and he must have reflected it. Our energy was 3,000 megawatt capacity, including the dormant capacity. Right now it's 24,000. So energy security for industrialization, for a private sector-led growth was extremely important, and that is why we grow so much. And of course, number 3, they called it the Sheikh Hasina factor. And there's an article called the Sheikh Hasina factor in Bangladesh's growth. Because Sheikh Hasina is a bold leader. She has a vision. She set targets and she achieves them. She set a target in 2009, but the 2021, which is Bangladesh's Golden Jubilee or 50th anniversary of our independence, we will graduate out of the LDC group. And we did that. In 2026, we are slated to come out of the LDC group. Of course, currently there's the Ukraine war, there's the energy crisis and the fertilizer crisis in Bangladesh. So we are heavily dependent on import of both energy and fertilizer. So that's a challenge to our economy and our foreign currency. But we are on the right track because the Boston Consulting Group just told last December that Bangladesh would become a $1 trillion economy by 2040. Why? Because Bangladesh's economy was 41st largest economy in 2021. And in 2022, we jumped 6 positions. We are 35th largest economy now in the world. And by 2036, we are supposed to become 24th largest economy. So the growth factors are reflected by the hard work of the people of Bangladesh and the leadership that we have. So with all these factors, I just want to say one thing. Between Bangladesh and UK, I would like to, welcome Her Excellency, High Commissioner Designate to Bangladesh, Ms. Sarah Clarkson-Cook, and I had an opportunity, both of us, to work together when she was the head of DFID and I was the head of the United Nations wings. And Sarah, Bangladesh is eagerly waiting to welcome you, and you will, Robert has done a brilliant job as High Commissioner, so, big hands to Robert and Nixon, and Sarah is going to, have big footsteps to, fill in. But, we want to welcome a Women High Commissioner again, being a Women High Commissioner. And 3 areas that Bangladesh and UK are so dependent on each other, and the partnership that we've developed is, number 1 is trade and investment. And we initiated between me and Robert the trade dialogue, and we have our honorable, special envoy of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom for Bangladesh, the trade envoy, Ms. Rushnar Ali MP, our pride, our British Bangladeshi Heritage First MP. Let's give a big hand. And we have our first Baroness and member of the peer, member of the House of Lords from Bangladesh, Baroness Paula Udin. Both of them and all the Bangladeshi MPs of the Bangladeshi heritage here in the UK Parliament are our pride. So So, trade investment, UK is our third largest export destination and trading partner, and it is also our second largest investment FDI partner. And we hope, just last year, $500 million US were invested from UK to Bangladesh. And this doesn't count the British Investment Initiative, which has a 5-year plan of 500 million. So investments from the UK are coming, and we hope they will come in the green sector. The second is climate change. It's extremely important. Prime Minister and Prime Minister Boris Johnson earlier in 2021 at COP26, they decided that we'll sign a climate accord, and I know Sarah will work on that. It's from DFID it came to FCDO, so now it's a bit, but we'll work on that. So we hope to sign a climate accord because climate cooperation is extremely important. This is where we want the UK government to allocate more supportive funds to our NGOs because you allocate all the funds to NGOs. And the last one is women empowerment. Women empowerment, and Lord Poppert forgot to mention, who's the first Ugandan origin peer in the British House of Lords. And you know that the last December, he took the initiative to organize 50 years of the Ugandan Asian migration, the exile of the Ugandans from Uganda to at the Buckingham Palace, and His Majesty chaired the meeting. And, thanks to him, on 14th of March, we'll be hosting on International Women's Day, Bangladesh High Commission and the UK FCDU will be organizing our partnership for the last 50 years in empowering women and girls. And you're all invited there. So women empowerment. And last but not the least, this is something that has come up since 2017, is our humanitarian partnership on the Rohingya issue. And we continue to look towards the UK's diplomatic leadership to ensure that the Rohingyas go back to Myanmar, because Myanmar can't get away with murder. There has to be justice for the Rohingyas. And I congratulate Krishna Ali for creating the APPG on Rohingya, and I hope that all of you at the House of Lords and the House of Commons will support the APPG on Rohingya. Last but not the least, we have the Strategic Defense and Security Partnership. I know that Mozammil Bhai's book is The Indomitable Development Journey, but because of Bangladesh's purchasing power capacity, we're looking towards more and more procurement from the UK. And our defense forces cooperation is growing strength to strength, trade cooperation, and we are about to open the Home Office dialogue to set migration and mobility in the right order. So we look forward to doing all that, given we have our very enterprising British Bangladeshi community and think tanks like Study Circle to showcase our partnership. And I hope Study Circle's next publication will be on Bangladesh-UK bilateral relations and the 50 years of that. So we look forward to working with you, Mozammil Bhai. And congratulations once again for the brilliant job you do every time. Last time also I came here in 2019 and this time. And Mr. Ali takes it to all the parliaments. Not only it's limited to London, he takes it to the Scottish Parliament, he takes it to the Wales Parliament, and we will be part of that journey too. Thank you very much. Joy Bangla. For International Affairs to our Prime Minister, Dr. Gohar Rizvi. All of you may be familiar with him because he lives in Oxford. He was a fellow in Harvard. He taught at Harvard. He taught at Oxford, and now he lives a very simple life in Oxford between Dhaka and Oxford. And his family lives in Oxford because I've been to his residence. He sometimes comes to these events, but he is our jewel in the crown. So in our foreign service and to our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And
before we move into our Member of Parliament and other VIP guests, may I request Dr. Gohar Rizvi to say a few words.
Thank you, Mozammil. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Parliament. It's truly a delight to be here. One of the great advantages of following on Muna Saida Muna, is that she does a splendid work of telling us what we need to know and know. So thank you, Muna. But more importantly, thank you, Mozammil. You have produced an excellent book. I disagree with you to the extent that when you say this is not a think tank, in fact, a proper think tank is one that provides information, educates the public with a view to molding public opinion and policies. So to that extent, your work is invaluable. Also, I'm really, really delighted. I cannot say how delighted to see Sarah coming back to Dhaka. And Sarah is a very dear friend, very close colleague. We had the pleasure of working together and look forward to continuing that, Sarah. And I hope I'll see you before you go to Dhaka again. Also, it is such a pleasure. But I really thank Muzammil for also bringing two of my dearest friends in the room, Baroness Uddin, and I hadn't seen her for quite a while. Last several times we missed each other, so I'm delighted you are here. And not least, of course, Rushanara, our pride, who has very, very close ties with Bangladesh. Of course, she represents the people of Britain, but like all migrants and immigrants, while they are rooted in the soil of Britain, she also has a soft spot for Bangladesh, and for which we are grateful to both Baroness Uddin and MP Rushan. Also, there's Mr. Shannon there, and thank him for coming. I have requested him that he will come to visit Bangladesh, and I've said a very special invitation. Come many times, but you must make one of your visits during Durga Puja, so you can see what a secular Bangladesh looks like. Our entire war of liberation was about secularism, was about religious freedom, was about tolerance, and if you come, you will see what we mean by that. I had in fact told Muzammil that we should all be very, very brief, and I will try to be as brief as possible, Muzammil as well. But let me, without repeating all the extraordinary statistics that you have put together, let me speak about a subject. It's a really interesting thing to discuss. First, we were criticized for not making enough progress. We were a basket case. We were a country that was not viable, a country that might become a hole in the map, and all sorts of things. And when we have done all the things that people, our well-wishers wanted, and we wanted, and today we are on the real path to progress, we are now being told, well, there is development but no democracy. And I want to address this question head on. Now, anybody who has invented this thing doesn't know what he or she is talking. There can be no development without democracy. Essence of democracy, and that is why there is democracy, is because democracy responds to public opinion, public demands, and what the public expects of the government. If you look at it empirically, no society in the world which has lacked democracy can actually make, you can make progress for a short period of time. But political stability cannot be there unless development and democracy go hand in hand. And that is what has happened in Bangladesh. There are countries who have made rapid progress, but they have stalled because democracy was not there. The other thing about democracy, which is what also provides stability, is that there is equitable development. And democracy ensures equitable development. Although I will say, sometimes, nowadays, as Lord Poppert was mentioning a moment ago, the private sector plays an important part in providing the energy and the drive for development, but it also increases inequity and wealth gap. But be that as it may, Bangladesh has had an equitable development. One reason why Bangladesh has developed is because it has political stability and continuity. A lot of people criticize Malaysia, but Malaysia showed what can be achieved by political continuity. So continuity doesn't mean one party rule, as long as there is election, and hopefully there is fair election. And therefore, this continuity is essential for development. I will be the first to admit that our political institutions are weak. We are still, this is a fledgling democracy. We are still trying to strengthen our democratic institution, and in time, some of the deficiencies that there are will be addressed. I don't have to remind you that of our 50 years of independence, half the period was under military and authoritarian rule. And one thing that military and authoritarian rule do, they destroy institutions. They undermine political and legal institutions. It is because of that today our democratic institutions are weak. It will take time to build them, strengthen them. So if there are certain deficits, those are being addressed, will be addressed. All we need is to continue our democratic journey, democratic process, governments elected on the basis of elections, and power also transferred on the basis of, not through the back doors, not through coups, not through overthrowing the government. So I wanted to say today is that while Muzammal Ali's book has given an extraordinary picture of the all-round development that has taken place in Bangladesh, but in order for this to have been achieved, we needed political stability, continuity, equitable development, and constantly an eye to what the public wants and what the public needs. Without that, there can be no development. So I hope you understand that this whole dichotomy that has been created, development versus democracy, is, I don't know where it comes from. Look around the world. Development and democracy always go together, and if one falls back, the other collapses. With those few words, Muzammal, I will end. I thank you all. There is time, we may come back to some questions later on. But in the meantime, thank you very, very much for giving me a chance to share some thoughts with you. Joy Bangladesh. Joy Bangladesh.
Thank you, Dr. Rizvi. Now, we move on to our parliamentary speakers, starting with a parliamentarian who is no stranger to any of us. And let me tell you a little bit about her as well, if I may. As well as being the MP for Bethnal and Bow constituency with the largest British Bangladesh community in the UK, Rushnara serves as the UK Prime Minister's trade envoy to Bangladesh and chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group of Bangladesh. She is herself one of our 4 British Bangladeshi heritage MPs in this country. Rushnara, we are so proud of you and look forward to hearing what you have to say. If you could kindly say a few words.
Well, fellow members of Parliament, members of the House of Lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I want to start off by thanking Mr. Ali, Chair of the Study Circle, for bringing us together, for establishing an organisation that is providing evidence and research on trends and advancements in Bangladesh. And I also, of course, want to congratulate our High Commissioner, the Honourable Saida Mona Tasneem. She's been a great friend of ours here in this country. And it's wonderful to have Sarah, who's going to be joining the team. She's going to be leading the British High Commission team in Bangladesh. And when we had a meeting before coming here, and Sarah said, I'm really excited about going back. It sounded like a homecoming, and this is the beginning of the homecoming, and you're going to have the homecoming all the way to Bangladesh when you go back there as the new High Commissioner. And I want to echo our thanks to Robert Chatterton-Dixon, who's got a few more weeks to go, and we are really pleased about the work he's done in strengthening British-Bangladeshi relations. We've been very lucky in the High Commissioners we've had, and we're very, very lucky to have the new High Commissioner designate who will be joining the team, I think, at the end of April, early May, after Ramadan. I wanted to just say how pleased I am to hear about this report and the contribution that is going to, the research is going to make. But before doing that, much has been said already, and I think that we should take heed of the wise words of Dr. Risby, who's a great friend of the British Bangladesh community, the UK more generally, and of course has had many prominent roles, both in terms of his role as advisor to the Honourable Prime Minister, but also in his academic work. And I think it's really important that we heed the points that have been made, which is that democracy and development go hand in hand. And today we meet the day after the 21st February, Ekushe February. So it would be remiss of me not to, for all of us to not to start by remembering all those in our language movement who gave their lives for our linguistic freedoms that began the campaign for an independent nation. And an independent nation with the freedom and the right to express our linguistic freedoms as well as our freedoms more generally. A nation built on secular values, on democracy, the pursuit of democracy, the pursuit of human rights and protection of minority rights. We know as Bengalis how important it is to protect minority rights. So I think that context that Dr. Risby has already set about the importance of democracy and development is absolutely paramount, and it's a constant work in progress. You know, every society has its ups and downs. Indeed, we've had our own. You know, we've had our own issues. We've had, over the years, recent years, I, among other colleagues in Parliament, took our Prime Minister to court and beat him, in a case. So these struggles and tensions can come and go. And that's the point, the essence of democracy is being able to make sure that we all work together for the interests of the country. And that's what is really wonderful to see in terms of the achievements that have been made since the independence of Bangladesh. There have been ups, there have been downs, of course, like any nation. And it's really remarkable to see the way in which poverty has been alleviated. There's much to do, but a great deal. Young people getting through the primary, secondary and tertiary education system. It's remarkable to see the infrastructure investment that's going in, whether the Padma Bridge or the terminal in Dhaka, the Sylhet airport development, the train line, the metro line. People are very proud of those achievements. It's a nation built on the contribution of people from all walks of life, different regions, different faiths, but also different political positions. And, we're all really proud of that as British Bangladeshis. And so it goes without saying, and this report highlights those achievements, that a great deal has been achieved. But I'm ambitious for Bangladesh even more. And I think that the essence of what we do as British Bangladeshis is highlight the achievements, but also focus on the things we could do furthermore. So I'll say a few things about trade. I have worked over the last few years to encourage British businesses to invest in Bangladesh. to make sure that we export to Bangladesh, and we are in discussion, particularly around the aviation sector. Multinationals are interested, but also tech, finance, creative industries. There's a lot we can do together. And also in terms of development, we're strong development partners. Of course, as the chair of the all-party group on the democracy in Burma, as well as Bangladesh and the rights of Rohingya, we have campaigned to make sure that the Burmese military is prosecuted for committing genocide. And my colleagues across the House have highlighted the contribution Bangladesh has made in hosting the Rohingya refugees and the need to continue to do that. And we recognise the challenges. The final thing I'd say is about climate. The reason why I think it's so important that we work closely together to see the advancement of Bangladesh is that Bangladesh faces huge challenges with the climate crisis. Lots of innovation going on, lots to learn between our countries, but we need to work together to make sure that happens. So congratulations, Dr. Ali, for the work you and your team have done. I look forward to us doing more together, both in terms of trade, in terms of other agendas. And I think that the area that I'm particularly keen that we do more of is around, of course, continuing that effort around good governance, building on what's been achieved, and also strengthening the ease of business so that we can get more investment, more exports in both directions. I hope that happens, and long may the partnership between our two countries continue. And a huge thank you, of course, to the British Bangladeshi community for being tireless champions and diplomats for Bangladesh here, as well as around the world. Thank you all very much for all your support, and thank you very much for inviting us and bringing us together. Sorry.
Thank you, Shara. Now, I will tell you something about a gentleman I'm going to request to come and speak a few words for us. He's one of the most senior community leader, activist, a gazetted freedom fighter, and under whose leadership me personally has come to this House of Commons building not many times in 1971. And another big introduction for him, he happens to be my school teacher when I was 15, 16 years of age. And now may I request Mr. Sultan Sharif to come and say a few words.
I'm as old and as backdated as I should be. I'm pleased Dr. Gahar is here. Mona is here. Roshanara is here. And my little sister, the only Bengali member of House of Lords, is here. All these people make me proud because before they ever started life in politics or similar things, their patriotism has attracted me and made me feel that they will be great assets for people of Bangladesh. The crowd today are also supporting the wonderful achievement of Bangladesh under the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, our Prime Minister, who only in 20 years rule, 19 years rule, has proved that he is a servant of the people, not a ruler. And his colleagues have also proved that by loving people, you can bring them from zero to, and if you work for them honestly, sincerely, but our society is not expected to take it kindly. So we'll have problems, but despite that, what has been done by the present government has been rightly, partially depicted by the small book Muzammil has written, but has given the essence of it and has also encouraged all of us that if we, like the people back at home, like the what you call poor people, the farmers, the day laborers, the factory workers, the ordinary people, all day and night, for the love of the country, and those more than 11 million people, Bengali people who are outside the country and working hard and earning enough to send money to enrich our economy. These are all great assets. And those of you who are here, I would prevail on you that you love that country like you should love all people of all the world, irrespective of which country you come from. So I have taken a long time, but I remember, like Roshan said, the great freedom fighters of the country who gave their life. Remember Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman? But for his love for democracy, he would never been killed. But for his love for the poor people of the country, but for his love for his motherland, he wouldn't have that end along with his whole family. That shame is on us. We have to recover from that. And I would request all of you to dearly love people. And if you love people, you love all your people, not a section, not the middle class, not the poor class, not the rich class, but entire people. But everybody needs this love so that they can give and take less and give more. Joy Bangla.
It concludes our presentation this evening. I'm just going to invite Jamal Khan to just say a final thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali, for.
Sorry, I'm not Dr. Ali, sir. I'm just
To us, honorable. Thank you very, very much, Your Excellency, Shara, and Honorable Dr. Rizvi. That is, I know, is correct. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, আপনাদের সবাইকে আমি সালাম বলে শুরু করছি, অশেষ ধন্যবাদ. This is a great privilege to be here. I think the only point